Carolyn Ingle, 5th hour, Act 1 recording. Romeo and Juliet starts out with the prologue, where we learn that there is a family feud going on between the Capulets and Montagues, Romeo and Juliet's family. But the actual story begins when there are two Montague servants walking down the street when they run into two Capulet servants, who then egg each other on to fight, so they fight. And then a prince comes along who's like a mayor and tells them that if they fight in the streets again, the punishment will be death. Death. And then after that when we meet Romeo, who is in love with this girl named Rosaline, who he just finds perfect. And she does not love him back. And Romeo is in a very depressing state. And poor Romeo. And then Romeo and his friends crash the Capulets' party, where Romeo meets Juliet for the first time, and they're talking, and then all of a sudden, they have a makeout sesh in the middle of the book. And then, after they have that makeout sesh, Romeo leaves the party, who then crawls back into, like, Juliet's house-ish area balcony, and this is when the famous balcony scene happens. And Romeo is being a little creeperish and is kind of stalking his new love. I mean, they met like 5 minutes ago. And he overhears Juliet returning his feelings of love for her. And they then decide to get married. Yeah. And so then Romeo goes to see Friar Lawrence, who is like a priest, to ask if he will marry them. But Friar Lawrence will only do it because of the situation between these two families. And so he agrees to marry them even though they just met. And so then, a little whiles later, the nurse of Juliet comes to Romeo to figure out what the plans will be for them to secretly get married since their parents can't know. And so the nurse helps Juliet go to the church so that they can get married. So Friar Lawrence marries Romeo and Juliet. So they get married. And then they live happily ever after. Oh yeah, no, that doesn't actually happen. And then the theme I used was light and dark, because Shakespeare uses light and dark throughout the book, and one place where he uses this is in the balcony scene, where Romeo is creeping on Juliet, and Shakespeare writes in the words like heaven and lamp and stars and light and brightness and stuff like that. And then the quote I used was from Friar Lawrence, when he said, "For this alliance may so happy prove to turn your households rancor to pure love." This is when Romeo is asking Friar Lawrence to marry him and Juliet. And Friar Lawrence, the significance of this quote is that Friar Lawrence doesn't understand why Romeo is in love with Juliet when yesterday he was in love with Rosaline. And how Romeo can actually be in love with Juliet when he was just in love with Rosaline, and you just don't get it. And so the significance is that he only will marry them because he hopes that by marrying them it will get rid of the family feud going on between these two families. Okay.